Well, sir, it's early evening as our scene opens now, and here in the living room of the small house halfway up in the next block, we find Mr. and Mrs. Victor Gook. Vic is established at the library table, playing himself a sluggish game of solitaire. Sade occupies her husband's easy chair and listlessly turns the pages of the newspaper. But now she glances up and remarks,
You making that noise?
No. You are, ain't you?
No.
I thought it was your chair creaking. Perhaps we have mice.
We have not. Been no mice in this house since the week we moved in.
Maybe murderous marauders are skulking nearby, waiting to plunder and kill.
Maybe so. It was kind of an odd little noise. Like springs when you get in bed.
I bet it's the Davenport springs.
How could they make a noise?
They're metal. Metal expands and contracts according to the temperature. I can see where Davenport springs could produce a rustling sound due to contraction or expansion. What's new in the paper?
Gonna tear up Emerson Street now.
Huh?
City engineers announced today that the portion of Emerson Street between Calhoun and Oak would be...
Hear it again?
Yeah. And you?
Very, very faintly. I bet I'm right. The air in the room's cooling off and Davenport springs are contracting.
Funny, we never heard it before.
Maybe the thermometer's taken a very sudden drop.
Wouldn't we feel it?
Inanimate objects feel it first. Anything of metal construction can be depended upon to register variations of the weather almost immediately. That's why we have steel and copper
Here's
instruments.
Willie. Yeah?
How long you been here?
10, 15 minutes.
Thought you went to call on Mr. and Miss Chestbutter.
We did. Wasn't anybody home, so we had to come back. Why?
Why?
You act like it was the surprise of your life, finding us in our own living room.
I never expected to find you here. Thought you'd gone to spend the entire evening at Chestbutter's house.
Well, we didn't. You standing there with your eyes bugging out reminds me of Miss Wheeler. That's the way she behaves over her trivial little stuff. Did you ever notice that characteristic in Miss Wheeler, Vic? When you tell her trivial little stuff? Kind of funny. She wants to show nice, polite interest in what a person's saying, see? So she makes faces and waves her hands and everything else. Like when I bumped into her at Hamilton's last week. We were there in the underwear and naturally stopped to chat a minute. She says, how's Mr. Gook? I says, just fine. Really, she says, and her eyes bugged out a mile. You'd have thought I'd said, Mr. Gook just fell in the Pacific Ocean. No matter what trivial little stuff you tell her, she acts that way. How's your friend Miss Stembottom, she says. Pretty well, I says, except for a slight head cold. Miss Wheeler clutched at her heart, a person had thought she was going to swoon. My goodness, she gasped. My goodness. Funny. It's just her way of showing nice, polite interest. Rush, what's eating you?
Nothing.
Why don't you sit down or something? Stand there staring ahead of you like a horse.
I'll get my book and read.
You got something up your sleeve?
How you mean?
Behave so funny.
My mind's full of various thoughts. I'll get my book and read.
Why can't they leave the streets alone a minute? Emerson, they're going to tear up now.
You started to read what the paper stages.
Yeah. City engineers announced today that the portion of Emerson Street between Calhoun and Oak would be...
There's your noise again.
Hey, you suppose we have got mice?
I'm satisfied with my theory.
Lived in this house 7 years and never heard the weather make the Davenport creak before.
What's the discussion?
Didn't you hear a funny sound a minute ago?
No.
Maybe the house is getting old. You take old houses, they give off funny sounds galore. Like the one we lived in there in Dixon when Bess and I were babies. In bed at night, you'd hear howlings and knocks and
Well, that wasn't a Davenport.
Hey, let's investigate this.
I'll see what the heck is going on. Huh?
Sit still. Don't move.
What you talking about?
The noise you heard come from outside the window.
Huh?
Smelly Clark is skulking in the front yard.
Why?
Just skulking is all.
What's he skulking about?
He's keeping an eye on my movements.
He's peeking in here at us?
I suppose you could call it that. Smelly is watching me like a hawk.
Rush, what is this?
Nothing that amounts to anything. Smelly
Has
is
he
very...
been outside the window ever since we've been home?
I imagine so.
Well, tell him to go away.
I better...
Go on, tell him to go away. Gives me the willies idea of somebody watching me.
Maybe he has gone away.
Well, go make sure. Glad I didn't happen to glance at the window and see him lurking in the darkness. I'd have hit the ceiling. Scoot, tell him we don't want people hanging around our yard at night.
Okay.
Tell him he's liable to get shot at. Good many citizens put a bullet in a prowler and ask questions afterward.
Okay.
I got a case of goosebumps there. Darn noise sounded like it was right here in the room. No, but that's perfectly true about old houses. They creak and whine and moan to beat the band. Bess and I'd cover our heads with the covers scared stiff sometimes nights in that old place we had there in Dixon. Wind had come yowling down the chimney and loose shingles had clattered and some of the eaves spouting banged. That was in the room.
It sure sounded like it.
Rush!
Wasn't anybody rapping on the window. I was watching the window. And besides...
Rush!
Yeah?
What's going on?
Hear some more sounds?
Is that smelly... There it is again.
The first rumblings of an earthquake, maybe. I understand.
I can explain.
Can you?
Please don't be frightened.
Explain.
I thought you people were going to be absent for the evening. You announced you were going to visit Mr. and Miss Chestbutter. Naturally, I assumed I would have...
Rush, what is that?
I'm explaining. I assumed I would have the house to myself, so...
I want to know what that noise is.
We're not alone.
Not alone?
No, it just so happens...
What do you mean we're not alone?
I mean... Well, to make a long story short, I took the liberty...
Somebody's here in the room with us?
Bluetooth Johnson. Bluetooth Johnson.
Under the Davenport?
Bluetooth Johnson.
Answer me.
Yeah.
Bluetooth under the Davenport?
Yeah,
Oh, goodness gracious.
Bluetooth...
How long's he been there?
Ever since... Mom, don't get up. Sit still.
I'll sit still.
Don't change the expression on your face.
What?
Don't change the expression on your face. Smelly Crack's still skulking outside the window.
Rush, look,
Listen. Bluetooth owes Smelly 14 cents. Smelly's trying to collect. I told Bluetooth I'd hide him from Smelly. Smelly suspects the truth. He's skulking outside the window. Bluetooth's under the Davenport. I didn't know you people would be home so soon. Gov, don't change the expression on your face. Smelly's watching every move you make.
I think I'll get...
Talk and laugh like nothing had happened. Well, sir, it's been a fine day. I wish I had $6. Oh, boy, you look fine. How's your friend Joe? Well, sir, by George, I guess I'll go fishing.
Bluetooth.
Don't talk to him, Mom.
Hello, Bluetooth.
Please don't talk to him, Mom. Smelly will catch on.
You underneath the Davenport, Bluetooth?
He won't answer you.
Say, we discovered somebody was under the Davenport and cow pasture hadn't been here to explain. We'd had a scare, eh, kiddo?
Why, it sunk right through the floor. Right through the floor.
I'd have been a trifle disconcerted myself.
Bluetooth.
Please, Mom.
Is it hot under there, Bluetooth?
Smelly will catch on, Mom. He's skulking right outside the window. Talk. Laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Mom, mighty pretty dress you got on. Ha, ha, Gov, I just broke my watch. Ha, ha, Mom. Look out for the snake. Ha, ha, Gov. Lend me $5. Mom, hey, what you gonna do?
Get that boy out from under there.
No.
Bluetooth.
Please.
Crawl out, Bluetooth.
Mom, I gave Bluetooth my solemn promise I'd protect him.
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth declines to respond.
Bluetooth.
Maybe a new element of awesome mystery has come into being. Maybe there's nobody under the Davenport.
Yes, there is. I can see his feet. Bluetooth. You get him, Rush.
You insist?
Yes. I'm not going to sit in my living room with people laying on the floor underneath my Davenport out of sight.
I gave Bluetooth my solemn...
I said get him out.
You absolutely insist?
Yeah.
All right, Bluetooth. The jig is up.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block.